And we are back for the second installment of World War II timeline of events. So, where we ended in the first installment is that the UK and France declare war on Germany on the 3rd of September, and this is the start of World War II for reasons we explained in the first video. Moving on. Germans go on the offensive. So now they're fully involved in war, and they are going to continue going until they get what they want. Germans take nations using brutal tactics, okay? And one of the ways in which they use these tactics is to employ a new strategy they devised called Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg, translated literally into English, means lightning, that's the blitz, and war, Krieg, okay? Lightning war. There we go. You can look at how lightning war is executed by looking at some of these maps to see where the Germans first started invading and where they go, okay? So this is kind of a timeline of maps, if you will. They go into Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, then France. All right, so this one is in the Netherlands. This photograph was taken in the Netherlands. And what I mean by brutal tactics, there are stories, personal accounts, and of course this picture is not going to show that, of the German army going through villages in Belgium. The people are out there waving to them. They don't know anything other than to say, hello, soldiers going through my country. And the Germans full on shoot people from their doorways, from, them lining the sidewalks, the streets. Brutal tactics. All right, so here's a map. Once again, because this is in video form, please pause it so that you can look at this for a little bit longer than the seconds I'm showing it in the video. What you're seeing here is Germany. They start by going this way in the Netherlands. They continue to push into Belgium, and then eventually they're going to work their way into France to try to get as close as they can to the capital city of Paris. Okay, now, so once again, this is a timeline of events for World War II. You could study World War II for years and years and years and probably still not get to everything. This is giving you a bird's eye view of very specific events. Okay, so the previous slides were 1938 and 1939. We're going to go into the United States playing a part. Before 1941, the United States sent allies, their friends, supplies and weapons. All right, so we did have an alliance with them. We were just not willing to get involved in the war by sending troops, but we were okay with sending them supplies and weapons. So let me ask you this, even though the United States did not officially enter World War II until December of 1941, the United States was involved by sending supplies and weapons. Okay, so this is showing you one of the laws that was passed before 1941. It was called the Lend-Lease Act, in which we were providing weapons, this is a tank, to our friends. Here's a political cartoon, which, once again, if you'd like to pause it, please do, to look at all of the details. This is Uncle Sam. The text reads, "It's truly encouraging how much of this stuff drifts into British ports." There was some controversy with the Lend-Lease Act. If we're not involved in the war, then why are we giving our friends weapons and supplies? Here's another political cartoon. This reads, "Help them." This says isolation because we were officially isolationist, meaning that we were not going to get involved in other countries' affairs. This says do nothing. So Uncle Sam is in the middle of these two different viewpoints of do we get involved or do we not? You can see that it says 1938 here. Okay. So the day that Pearl Harbor is bombed, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, was December 7th, 1941. It was a Sunday morning and the bombing started at 8 a.m. There were a few waves of bombs that flew over this area of Hawaii. The Japanese were allies to the Germans. Okay, so if this is a note that is important to understand why we go to war with the Japanese first. The U.S. declared war on Japan on the 8th of December, so just one day. It was really less than 24 hours after Pearl Harbor was bombed, which is U.S. soil. It quickly entered into the war against the Axis powers. Okay, so the big countries involved on the side of the Axis powers were Japan and Germany. Here is a newspaper headline, and it reads, U.S. declares war. Hawaiian casualties total 3,000. There were a little over 3,000 lives of U.S. sailors that were lost in Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Okay, this is titled U.S. involvement. It reads, helped the Allied powers gain strength against Germany and Japan. U.S. involvement in World War II helps to strengthen. So let's go back to one of our vocabulary terms, which is power, right? Helps to strengthen the Allies against Germany and Japan, the Axis. There were more than 16 million American troops sent overseas to help fight in World War II. And then please know that in all areas of the globe, World War II was fought. It wasn't just near Japan in the Pacific. It wasn't just on the continent of Europe. There were other places that World War II was fought. This is actually the flag raising at Iwo Jima, but it is quite representative of the U.S. in World War II. Okay, this is a picture from D-Day, 1944, of the Allies, American troops storming the beaches of Normandy, which was France. There were 5 different areas, 5 different code names for the areas that spanned this northern area of France. Okay. Here are some photographs to show U.S. involvement in World War II. If you like looking at some of these photos, please pause it so you get more time with them. This is showing you that women were an integral part of the workforce in World War II, putting together the tanks, the planes, the guns, the ships, all different kinds of things used to fight in World War II. Okay, now the war ends in 1945. In May, the war ends in Europe. It's going to take a little bit longer for the war to end with Japan. And the war in Europe ends because Germany suffers a series. So a series is a few in a row. A series of defeats leading up to the 7th of May in 1945. Famous picture. France being liberated. Okay, and fast forward a few months, on the 6th and the 9th of August in 1945 is when the United States makes the decision to drop atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. The president at the time was President Truman, and because Japan did not surrender the same time frame as the war ending in Germany, and really no end in sight, Truman said that the reason why he made the decision to drop those bombs was to save American lives. Remember, you are always connecting back to, should the United States intervene in world affairs? On the 2nd of September, Japan officially surrenders. So look at the timeline there. The 6th and the 9th of August is when the bombs are dropped. It takes the rest of the month into September for Japan to officially surrender. This is the signing of those surrender papers, the ending of the war on an American ship. And this is a color version, a little bit different view of that same event. All right, that brings us to the end of the second installment for the World War II timeline of events. Thanks for listening, everyone.